I gotta go. Oh, it's in.
Is it in the binder? Usually in the binder,
She probably.
unless you took
Oh,
them
here
home
we go.
last time.
I have another one in a vest pocket.
I did.
I don't have a gavel.
Oh, no. I'm kidding.
Neil.
I always,
The beloved.
right?
Charlotte's been under a little pressure tonight. She's
Has
been
she?
very nervous. You did a great job, by the way.
We're ready.
You did a fine job.
It is 7 PM on December 9, 2025. As presiding officer, I hereby call this regular session of the Vernonia Rural Fire Protection Board of Directors to order. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. Public comments will be accepted during the public comment section of the agenda. All rise for the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Has everybody had a chance to review the agenda? And do we have any additions to it? Look okay for everybody? Yep. All right. Members present, Neil Kennedy.
James George.
Steve Weller?
Amy Barton.
Okay, and Dawn is absent tonight. Is she joining us online?
He's not.
She is not. Okay. And staff
Greg Brody, Fire Chief.
Board Secretary Charlotte Tannery.
and other staff, I assume you've all signed in or will sign in. Visitors, please sign in.
She's back.
All right, has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from the previous meeting of November 11? And I do have one thing on here, and it could be my memory that is wrong. Registered agent. I think that was it. No, maybe that wasn't it.
So I thought we took care of that.
Audience participation. James Pizarski commented that the election cycle, that the election prerequisites asked and asked the board to consider public weight at least 2-year election cycle. And asked the board to consider the public weight.
Oh, sorry, the public wait at least one election cycle. I could add a comma in there, sorry. The public, I could say the public, ask the public to wait at least one 2-year election cycle is what he requested
And
before.
He was referring to the 5-year policy.
that's what I thought it was,
Change, make 2
I can
years.
reword it a little bit if you'd like.
but was that why is the public waiting? I don't, maybe I'm,
For people who want to, if
Because-
anyone from the public who would like to.
Because
be
fire
on
personnel
board.
can, fire personnel can.
I
that's a
can
good
reword-
point. Okay, so they will be a member of the public at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
I can
No,
reword
I
it.
think that's good enough. I just needed clarification that I was
Understood.
understanding what was written.
I kept reading it, I was like, what is?
Also,
It didn't read correctly to me,
No, and I haven't wrote the wait, I can add. a word.
but that was the same conversation I remember, as long as we're all on the same page.
Mhm.
Everybody understands what it means.
Yeah, no, Chief brought that up. That is on
Mr. President, I just realized, I just missed it, was that on old business, should we not be also discussing the policy about the public waiting period after leaving the district? Was that, we brought that up, but we didn't get anywhere with that last.
We did not, yeah, exactly. We tabled it till this meeting
Yes,
for Chief to come back with.
yes,
because there was supposed to be some conversation with SDAO on best practice.
right.
And I don't,
And I sent you a copy.
I did see it.
And I didn't print it out. I'm gonna print it out.
Okay.
I will add that in my old business note.
So let's amend the minutes to include that.
Okay,
Is there anything else? Because that is on the agenda tonight, correct?
Well, now it is.
and now I'm adding it now.
I don't think it was. It's being
It
added.
just says board
Board
policy.
policy.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Under old business, yeah.
I mean, I guess it could be a
Board
board policy. Be more specific, I guess.
Other than that, is there anything on the 11:11 minutes? And if not, can I have a motion to accept it as amended?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as amended of November the 11th, 2025.
Second.
James,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
motion carries. It's at the right place, it's done. Mhm.
Well,
Never.
Unless you're the newsletter.
Yeah, as long as we're waiting for the chief. Charlotte, what do you got on newsletter?
I don't have much for the newsletter. The next article will be out in the January 2026 edition of The Voice. And just wanted to remind everyone about the pancake breakfast free to the community this Saturday, the 13th from 8 to 11. And we also have Toy and Joy going on if you'd like to make donations to Toy and Joy.
What was that date again, Charlotte?
That's Saturday.
This Saturday, the 13th from 8 to 11.
Is that here or at the school?
It's here.
Okay.
It is here. I have it on my phone.
Correspondence?
I do not have any correspondence.
Treasurer's report.
I do not have any checks for you to sign. We didn't have anything over 3,500 other than the one that Steve Weller came in and signed.
What'd you sign, Steve?
Oh, you'll have to refresh my memory. What was that, Charlotte?
He signed our hydro testing or in
testing.
bladder and hose testing.
Good.
And so I put a note on there that he did come in and sign it.
Good job, Steve.
I wanted to commandeer that trailer, that test trailer and hide it, but they wouldn't let me do it.
And normally you guys sign a large check for our insurance, but we had a change in a family member, so we had to remove a family member from a staff insurance policy. So we got kind of we got a credit for November, December. So.
Gotcha. All right, well, with that being the case, do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I will second it.
James,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
motion carries. Chief's report.
Okay, good evening, everyone. All right, here we go for chief's report. In operations wise, total calls for service was 55. That brings up to 606 calls, bringing us slightly ahead from last year, which was 592 calls for the year at this point. Fortunately, once again, no major issues with any of our equipment. And with the help of one of our volunteers, Nick, is he still there? Oh, he left, okay. We've been updating on the logo to all our rigs. A couple interesting calls. Obviously, we discussed one of them here tonight. We had a couple of minor motor vehicle accidents, both pretty much the same spot right near Pittsburgh Road, Highway 47. We had a major crash south of town. And then we assisted mutual aid, Miss Birkenfeld with an overturned log truck on Highway 202. Outside of that, nothing much to talk about. Training topics, we did officer development, forcible entry. We had a representative here from the State Fire Marshal's Office teach a class on lithium battery safety. We did medical assessments, our new SCBA use, and we did some host deployment stuff as well.
Chief, can I interject 1 second? On the lithium battery safety, was that specific to our equipment or was that lithium batteries in general, like what we'll encounter in the public?
In general.
Okay,
Thank
you.
So it brings up to 188 man hours of training for Vernonia in November. Upcoming training includes vehicle extrication. We're going to do hydrants, SCBAs, communications, rehab, lots of things coming up here. I taught over the weekend a 16-hour driver's course, an FPA driver's course. We had 8 students from 3 agencies in the class. Administrative, several volunteers have donated time, full shift means they're here ready to go on calls. 106.5 hours was donated by our wonderful volunteer staff. Thank you, volunteers. I attended the OFDDA conference with President Kennedy and Member Weller. I think we all walked away with some good information on that. We are gearing up for our Christmas community activities and wintertime weather. Next Monday, we will be, drill is going to be chaining up all the rigs practice, just to make sure they're all changing good and ready to go.
Do we run studs on the command vehicles?
We just bought brand new tires. Charlotte's gonna go pick them up on Tuesday. Or, mine has them and our utility rig is gonna have it as well, yeah. So we have started to receive our new SCBA supplies. Much more remains to be delivered. However, I found out today that the bulk of the shipment has been shipped. So our brand new SCBA's, 24 SCBA's should be arriving in the next several days. However, they ship from UPS or something like that. So we're very excited about that. We ordered some inventory control tags, and Lieutenant Carr has been taking the lead on getting all of our equipment inventoried with tags, and we're in a spreadsheet and all this sort of stuff. So that'll help out us keeping track internally as well as for audit purposes and things like that. I don't believe this district, I'm not aware of any formal inventory program in the past, and that's something we can initiate. It'll be spread out amongst the shifts and we're all getting inventory. There's going to be certain things we're not getting inventory. We're put inventory control tags on our axes because they'll just fall off and things like that. But we're going to get that done. We got the tags to do them now.
And I'm sure you're gonna do it, but I would just recommend setting a threshold dollar value,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Anything below that would be a consumable and
We've been asked to put on a safety fair of sorts, the Nehalem Valley Bible Church next April. We'll be delighted to put that on. They want to do that in coordination with the police department. Next fiscal year, we are going to apply for a new fire engine on one grant, and there will be a separate regional grant involving every agency in Columbia County to put in for regional grant for new radios for the entire county. That grant will be close to $1 million. And I sent out an email to all of you informing that I've asked our staff to curtail spending to only necessary daily operating ideas. I put on here, I'd like this pause the last several months to maintain our budget. We are okay, but I'm a professional worrier. And every 6 weeks or so, Lieutenant Carr has to talk me off the cliff. And he did the other day, because I just get focused on one number or another. And he says, gotta be a big picture thing. Just don't get freaked out because one line item might be over what it is. And I just, we are fine. We are good. I just think that it's a good time right now to take a tactical pause on our spending until, we get through January, which is halfway through our budget year, figure out where we're at and go from there. So there's certain things we have budgeted for to buy, some equipment for our fire engines that we don't. They're more or less replacements for stuff that we currently have. We're just going to hold off on those for a little while here just to make sure we're good. On that note, also, we brought in at the Fire Defense Board meeting, the Oregon Fire
District
Directors, I can't remember that one, District Directors meeting. One of the other fire chiefs there gave me the name of a person, apparently in Multnomah County. They have so many small taxing districts, everything from levy districts and water districts and sewer districts and cemetery districts, all that. They actually have an oversight committee in Multnomah County that receives every single individual agency's budget and reviews them and approves them or sends them back for a correction before they're submitted to a state. It's kind of an extra layer. We send ours directly to the state. This goes to that agency. And he gave me the name of this woman who actually lives in Rainier. So just on a whim, I decided to give her a call. I said, hey, how would you feel about coming up and looking at our budget? And she did. She was here last week. She spent about an hour and a half here with us, looked over our budget. We sent her home some documents and we said, would you be willing to help us? Our budget's good and it's presentable and we never had any issues coming back from the state, but this is a way for us to make sure we are doing everything correctly by the book, crossing T's, dotting I's, things like that. Even more so, she provided us some information about our budget, and we're doing more or less the same as everybody else, but there have been some laws passed since, which actually is going to ease our budgeting, the way we go about our budget. And we'll explain that as we get towards the budget year and things like that. But it's going to make our budgeting a lot easier, a lot easier. Couple of things. I'm going to be gone this Friday through Tuesday. Lucky me, I'm going to go to the Midwest where the high temperature is supposed to be 5 degrees on Saturday. I've notified all the neighboring chiefs and I have faith in our staff here to handle things, but we have that covered. Couple of things that just came up today. Actually, one I just remembered is last Monday I went and said a hello meet and greet again with city council. I spoke to city council for probably 10 or 15 minutes. Steve was there.
I saw you were down there.
Yeah, just another hello, how you doing? I'd made a kind of a commitment to them. I'd show up every several months. I hadn't. It's been a year since I'd seen them. And so I'm going to get back in that habit of going back and talking to city council. I gave them an update on where we were at with I talked about our levy coming up. I talked about the relationship that we have with the city is excellent and the city police is excellent. I gave them information, other things I talked about. Don't remember what else it was, but I presented them with all information, was well received, asked questions by the city council members, and they seemed very pleased. So.
I'll just add to it because I was there. He surprised me because I didn't expect him to be there and I surprised him. But anyway, the one thing he did talk about was the relationship between the two agencies, talking especially the government agency of the police department and the fire department and how much it has improved and seems to be very cohesive. And so
yeah,
that was good.
Kind of a healthy community when agencies are working together as closely as they are. So I was very happy with that. The last thing I want to point out is that Lieutenant Carr attended a 1-hour webinar put on by the State Fire Marshal's Office, and it's basically a smoke alarm installation program. And he got a class, and we have been shipped 25 smoke detectors from the state. They arrived today, and so we're going to be making a very big push. I think we have 90 days to get rid of all of them. Distribute them.
Reapply for another round.
Yeah. So we're going to be pretty much every call that we go on, every time we get a chance, we're going to ask the people about their smoke detectors and change them out for free if needed. So that's what I have for the chief's report. I have one little thing to talk about at the end, and we'll go from there.
Can I ask you one question on when you talked about the operations and the mutual aid? Mr. Birkenfield, did you use the billing cycle on that as far as recovery of cost is that?
For the fruit semi?
To the lot, yeah.
No,
I'm just curious.
no, we did not.
Okay.
Because, well, we're only billing for responses in our jurisdiction, because it's technically their jurisdiction. I don't want them to get mad if we're going to an
They
outside
request.
agency and billing.
That was my reason for asking.
yeah.
So you answered the
We
question.
can do that if it is an illegal fire. We can do that, but no,
Okay.
I don't want to get, I don't want to.
Good.
I had one question too on the driver's course that you taught. Was
Yeah.
that here
Yeah.
or? Okay.
Yes.
That's good.
I try to teach a class once a year, and December was my 4th time I taught it. I'm taking a break between the class. 4th time I taught it in 2025.
So quarterly instead of once a year.
Yeah, it seemed to turn that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, old business. Board policies?
Policies. So, folks, I
Here
told
we
you this
go.
has been working on this one. Okay, so I took one of the policy books that we had, and I went down to the printer shop in St. Helens and had them print them off. I think it was 5 or 6 policy books that are currently in place. And then I printed off all the policies that I have put into Lexipol so far, only to discover that the policy book that I had printed out was not the most current policy book. And so I'm going to tell you folks, I wasted about $160 taxpayer money at the printer to print out completely wrong books. And I had a little meltdown. Charlotte got to put down, got to witness that. And I got terribly frustrated with this. And I flat out, admitted to them that I am, with all the things going on, I'm terribly overwhelmed by all this. And it drove me crazy that, I'm running into my own walls and this sort of stuff. And I'm not feeling good about this because I recognize the value of having good, strong policies. So I looked at them with heartfelt conviction and I said, I can't do this. I need help. I need help. And I have had the staff, I think they talked behind my back. And I've had them come to me and say, we are here to help you, chief.
Good.
And what that means, I said, well, it's nice that I have this policy and I don't, I've got, well, here's one from 1996.
That's the name on
I don't even know. Here's one from 1999. Here's one from 2000, 1999, all this sort of stuff. These are not, here's Steve Roller from 2003. Again, this is the older one. And what is massively important to me is that we simply start retyping the policies that we have, check them. There's some easy, most of them are very easy. Most of them are, there's really no legal challenges or legal changes to the law. But what would take me 30 minutes to type, Brandy said she could do it in about 3.5 minutes, for example. And so Brandy has stepped up big time to say, Chief, give me some stuff. I'll start retyping these sort of things because they have to be in electronic format so we can't change them, update it, things like that. So folks, I can't give you a timeline. These were, like I said, I printed off all these new policies to go in this book, but they're worthless until we get the right, most current thing. So I want to apologize. I am not going to make excuses. I'm going to say, I'm not getting it done and it's killing me. And it really is weighing heavily on my heart. So 4 policies. I'm not going to give you a date. I'm going to tell you that we're going to continue to work hard on getting it done.
I would assume you can look into SDAO for some of this too.
Well, most of the policies that you've already seen have come from SDAO.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like the policy we're talking about tonight, social media, copied straight out of SDAO. But there's a lot of things in there regarding,
Yeah, they're agency specific or whatever.
Exactly.
Totally, I get that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I think that for actual board, the way the board function policies.
That's where I was going.
I think we have those, the
Okay.
ones that we've approved, and those binders right there are solid.
Okay.
Duties of the vice president,
I would-
duties of this, that, and quorums and things like that. Those have all been done. We have those. Charlotte went through and looked back of all the policies we've approved over the past year, 15 months, and we've got those lined up, but it's a big thing, and I'm doing the best I can. I'm sorry, I'm not getting it done.
Are you
And
admitting
a
you're doing it?
suggestion
I
for
am.
you, I would keep one of those books and
Mhm.
destroy the rest of them. And then put a very bold marker on the front of it that this is a past versioning and it's there for historical reference only.
Okay.
And then when we have the new one, let's make sure that, we have in an appropriate policy format with a date and
Which
revision
one?
date.
And that's what got me wondering now.
Yeah.
I have to look at it. Cause I do have a copy of that
Version.
book and I'm
Yes.
curious now as to which one I actually have. Now to come and compare.
I've got a newer one in copies.
All right. Is that it for board policies tonight?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, no, well,
Oh,
no,
yep,
we have
please,
to
go ahead.
for policies, yes.
Okay. Strategic plan continues tabled. It says until fall of 2025. I'm assuming that we want to push this out till spring of 2026.
I would say past that because spring of 2026 is when the levies will go up.
So summer,
I saw them.
right? Because we want to catch on the other side of the levy vote.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think, yeah,
There was
Yeah.
some information in language I read today that commented on that about looking after some stuff
so,
after.
but yeah, we could change that
Levy
to say
issue.
summer 2026, we'll start looking at that again.
Agreed. Anybody else have heartburn with that or everybody okay with that? Okay. Levy proposal.
So no real movement on that. We are, I presented the levy, the same,
The select deck.
PowerPoint, yeah, that I showed you guys. I showed at our volunteer meeting last night to make get our volunteers educated on it. Reaffirming the fact that when someone in the community comes up and says, hey, you're a volunteer at the fire department, what's the deal with this levy? What am I getting? I said, you can present facts. We're not into scare tactics. You can't tell them they need to vote for this. You can tell them the facts, what we're gonna use the money for. And I laid it out very clear to them. I think everybody understood the importance of that. But we're continuing to move forward, with what we're gonna do. We've got some ideas. We're gonna shoot an educational video. Lieutenant Carr and myself went and looked at this structure that we're gonna shoot an educational video at. I got permission from the landowner to do that. So yeah, we're moving along.
On the slide deck, it's called out several times about an SCBA fill station. There's nothing that says necessarily why we need that here.
Yeah.
So just
Okay.
it's your slide deck, you do what you want with it, but I think that that would be a valuable thing, especially if it's, hey, we have to take a line officer out of district vehicle, package up the bottles, drive 45 minutes, fill takes X amount of time. They're out of district for 3 hours to do something that we could be doing in-house.
One of the educational videos that we're gonna put out there, we're going to be talking specifically about the fire engine. We're gonna do a walk around as I'm talking about it, and also the fill station as well, the back shop and things like that. That's on my list of videos that we're gonna shoot
Good.
and talk about that. So yes, but I'll change on slide because that makes sense. If that's the only thing that someone looks at, then yes. it should say
Right.
it.
And I mean, and to the point, I mean, it's, it's mileage on the vehicle and it's wear and tear and it's all these things that don't have to happen.
Right.
If we can take care of it in-house.
Right.
New business, chief's performance review.
So, this was brought up, I think I actually brought it up recently, that, it's been a year since I've become your fire chief and, that, there was a kind of a temporary, smaller one done at 6 months, but we're a year in since I've been the chief here. And, so, in speaking with Neil and Steve at the OFDDA conference, I started doing some research and background and put together some stuff. What I arranged was I got a performance review that I wasn't very impressed with from SDAO. That's the one I think I sent to all of you. It's very basic in general, but that's the one that was in the resource library. I also then sought out my own personal review, which I sent to all of you as well. And then I also asked the volunteers and staff to do a review of me. All of those are sitting in that locked box right there. And I don't know how many are in there. I imagine there's at least 10 of them in there.
Okay.
And I asked them all to fill them out. Honestly, I told them that I will not be reviewing them individually. I will not. I will hear the results of them, but I will not be reviewing them individually. So how we're going to proceed with this, what I'm going to make the recommendation is that you guys should probably consider having a special board meeting to talk about the chief's performance review, how you want to do it, how you want to format it. If you want to use something different that maybe one of you knows about, a different forum to review me than the one the SDA have. Taking into consideration my self-evaluation and the evaluation you see from staff here and volunteers, how you want to do that. That can be done in executive session. The actual review when you present it to me, it's the employee's choice of whether I want that done in open session or executive session. Now, I'll tell you this right now, I have no secrets. I'm going to take whatever you can throw at me, good or bad. It will be an open session as far as I'm concerned. So it's going to be up to you guys how you want to do that. That's all I can tell you.
So can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Is this the one that you did that you sent yourself personally?
That's
Yep,
my
Yeah,
personal.
yeah, that's the way I
And-
interpret it.
And my thought was, that's the format we should use.
I liked it very well. I sent something back to you. I don't know if you got it or had a chance to look at it in an email, but I did send you.
Yeah, I did see that.
Comment.
So I can probably get you a clean copy of that. And
Like electronic.
yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
And I can send that out to board members, a clean copy. I think I can.
I'm pulling up the calendar.
You looking at dates already, Neil?
Well, let's see, we're gonna have, board meeting is going to be on 1/13, correct?
Mhm.
Is our next?
Sounds correct.
Yes.
So is there a chance that we could have an exec session, maybe like
Mhm.
1/6? Does that work?
1/6. Trying to think. I laid my phone down again. All right. Where's my guess, right?
It's funny,
I
I guess.
have an appointment on the 7th. So I can't make it then, but the 6th, I'm sure I can, the 5th. I'm gonna be home,
Okay,
so.
Amy,
Yeah.
does that work for you?
Mhm.
Evening of the 6th?
Mhm.
So Charlotte, do you want to announce that, James, are you okay with that?
Oh, yeah.
So you want to make an announcement that we'll do an exec
Mhm.
session on the 6th in the evening, 7 o'clock?
And Charlotte, I will go over with you how we have to announce that. There's certain things we have to put in there.
Yeah. Hold on.
And then my intention at that point is to come to consensus. Um, we'll have all the staff reviews. We have the chief's self-review. And Steve and I have been talking to, stakeholders from other departments and agencies. And so we will include those as well. And then with all of that information, I think this board comes to consensus on what that all means, and then we should have it typed and ready by the board meeting the following week. Does that make sense for everybody? Does
Yep.
Mhm.
that work for you, chief?
You're gonna wanna email Dawn, and make sure she knows.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming that this action item is a table until, or is this that we took action and set an exec session? I don't think we need a vote for that.
No,
No, so the actual item of fire chief performance review is tabled until the 13th. Yes.
Do you want to go for old business, the board elections that you guys were talking about last month? That Pizarski was talking about.
Going backwards. Yeah.
Then old.
So on old business.
See.
Yeah, I made a D.
Make a
Sorry.
D.
Board election, sorry about that.
So this was the conversation about how much time should pass before a prior employee is eligible to run for a board seat. Under current policy, it is 5 years. And the issue that was brought up was that there was a feeling that that was too long of a time. And then there was some conversation about what is an appropriate timeline. And Chief, you were going to reach out to SDAO, and I think that's what we're looking at here is their official read on it.
exactly.
And I don't know if everybody's had a chance to read through this before. If you haven't, go ahead and take a look at it now. I know what it says. Yeah.
I'll give this.
Yeah, copy. Thanks.
So my read on this was that they really didn't feel as though the 5-year policy was truly enforceable. They weren't that thrilled with that idea. Ultimately, it would come down to a lawsuit against us, and that was it. But it sounded to me like they were quite surprised that we had that policy in place and that, it's not the norm. So, I think if my recommendation would be that if we're gonna stay in the good graces of SBAO, that you guys should probably take a look at that again and maybe look at reducing that.
I think right now we should probably table it until this bounce back, so we have a full board's input on this matter. I mean, I know there was discussion and,
Yep, absolutely.
and sometimes we're thrown out, whatever,
But
but
it also looks by SDAO's legal administrator that it's gonna take resolution to do it anyway.
Oh,
So we have to prepare resolutions. We need to have a conversation, decide what we want to do, and then direct staff to prepare a resolution.
Not a problem.
Conversation
Yeah.
first and then the resolution.
Yeah, so I would say let's put it on the agenda for 1:13. And then we'll, providing that everybody's here, we'll have direction on what that resolution should look like.
just need to make sure we have. Having on old business.
Yep.
Yes.
And Chief, electronically, did this go to all board members?
It
It may have only gone to me.
Yeah, I will.
So let's make sure we send it out to everybody so that everybody's got a clean slate, knows what they're looking at on the 13th. Okay. All right. Back to new business. Social media and networking policy, and I'll need a copy of that. Is it in the book?
It's in the new business.
Because I did not get a chance to read through this one.
This one,
I had to do my job today.
I know I've actually had to do that a couple days in a row.
This is the one you said you took right straight from SDA.
I know, right? When my guys came in, I'm like, well, I guess I'm done doing. So everybody just take a couple seconds and read over it and then we can discuss.
Sitting in my easy chair.
there's one part of this policy that doesn't address a question that I have. And, not sure where I'm gonna find the right answer on that.
Yeah.
And that is comments on our Facebook posts.
On the organization's account.
Mhm.
What if, do we just gotta? Like I said, I'm gonna say, do we just gotta take it? And if it's blatantly false information or accusatory, if it's obviously, threatening, I think that's something we could deal with.
Yep.
But
Mhm.
blatantly false information, like I'm not sure where the guidance falls on that. If we're allowed to delete that comment, allowed to ban a user, I do not know.
So I think that we check that through legal. I guess, until we have a read on that, my suggestion would be that, like any PIO formatted response, right? Because in the teeth of an incident and the PIO is speaking, there's going to be crazy things that come out of questioning, right? And the PIO is always to address the comment and set the record straight. And I think that would be appropriate. But there may be things that, are so outside the bounds that, yeah, as long as we're safe to delete them, we just delete them.
Yeah,
And there are some things that, for the good of the community, it's good to see. Now, here was a challenge, and here is the correct response from the organization.
Mhm.
what I don't, and I've dealt with this before in my prior agencies, is that somebody will post on there, it took the fire department 28 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
And I look at our times, no, we were there in 7,
Mhm.
okay? But then, as we all know, people see something on social media, they'll jump on 28 minutes, I can't believe that's ridiculous,
Right.
what kind of fire department that's where I'd like to have that answered. And I was just reading along with you guys and realized that's not there.
Mhm.
That's not there. So I'll get Lori Cooper, our attorney, in on that.
The other thing is that it seems to, maybe I should go back and read it a little bit more thoroughly, but it seems that it speaks well to organizational websites or accounts, but not necessarily an individual employee's accounts of what they may post about the organization. Now, those things should be, there's some reference, but it's not a real bright line to me.
Yeah, it's,
And then those actions should be referenced in other parts of policy anyway. So issues of moral turpitude or, anything defamatory against the organization. You can't cast the organization in a poor light. When you do that, you put your position at risk, so forth.
I can do this. Obviously, when we were having this discussion, I said, well, I'll just look up SDA, I'll look in our media library, and this popped up. And yes, I took a path of least resistance on this one.
And it's not bad for what it is.
But let me go ahead and reach out to find out what Tualatin Valley is using, what Forest Grove's using, things like that.
And they may have two separate policies, one regarding organizational media and one regarding what an individual employee may do on their own time. And then we get into those issues where people are on the job and responding on social media and people know that they were at work. So now you're using work time to respond to social media post and saying something that may or may not land well with the public because that's the world we live in. And how's that addressed?
It will be my recommendation, then we table this again, and I'll bring something different to you next board meeting.
Works for me.
I just should
Everybody else?
add something, just so staff understands, this came as a direct result of our OFDDA conference.
Yeah.
There was a lot of information thrown at us as board directors and chief officers, so that's a big reason why this is really being looked at.
Yeah. Well, and it's not going away, right? This is only
No.
going to get more complex
Mhm.
and better to have a policy about it now than to
Yeah.
have somebody get caught sideways and going, but I didn't know I couldn't do that or.
Mhm.
Right.
All right, so that will be tabled until 1:13 as well. .gov domain, what's this?
Okay, so, about 6 or 8 months ago, we switched over to a new IT service and they got us up and running and yada, 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 the whole thing. It had a higher level of security on it and And, like it or not, it was what we felt at the time was the best for us. Last week or 2 weeks ago, both Lieutenant and I found out that we spammed half the planet. Our emails were spoofed. Basically, somebody sent out a fake invoice to everybody's possible contact list on the planet. Actually, Mickey might even speak to something like this, but we spoofed emails and sent out fake invoices to. There's so many sent out that Microsoft shut us down. They shut our email account down for a day. So we could not send any emails for a day.
So I saw the shutdown and restart notice, but I didn't know what it was pertaining to.
Yeah. So they shut down our entire domain. We were frozen up because we were sending out emails, which I didn't even know because whoever done this had manipulated it so that it wasn't showing up in my sent folder, but somebody were getting kicked back from bogus addresses that they were sending out to. It's coming back and they automatically went to my deleted folder. So it was a nightmare. And we got IT and we reset our passwords and they did their magic and everything's working fine again. We haven't seen any other complaints about that, haven't noticed anything. But it just got me driven to the point where I said that was embarrassing as an agency and it was irresponsible. And I said it's time for us to seek out what's called a top level tier domain. And Mickey, if you know about whatever I'm talking about and you know more than I do, please say. So I sought out what it would take for us to get a .gov domain. And it's actually, the process was surprisingly easy. Apparently it was extremely difficult at one point, but the federal government is actually pushing local governments to switch over to the .gov domain, which provides a much higher level tier of security and such like that. There will be a cost involved. I think when I contacted our IT department about moving us over to this domain, the domain is free. It would just be some labor and the hosting costs and things like that. And they quoted me $210, $180.
To make the switch.
Yeah. I think it might be a little bit more than that. I do not know. They're gonna have to rearrange all of our emails and things like that. So I think it'll be a little bit more. We're gonna have to keep both domains for a little bit because we're gonna have to redirect them to our new domain. We're gonna need new business cards. We're gonna need to update our burn permits and all that kind of stuff. It won't be easy, but more and more agencies are switching over to the .gov domain. It adds more legitimacy to us. And I'll be honest with you, our domain, our URL sucks. I don't like it. It's hard to explain to people. Vernonia, people know how to spell that, and you see RFPD and they say DFPS, R as in Robert, F as in Frank. And so I would like to have a board consensus to move forward. I've already submitted the request to the government to do this, to get the domain. I don't have to accept it, but I sent the request in. I expect to hear back any day now, whether or not we're approved for it. I put in for vernoniafire.gov. And if we get it, I'd like the board's permission to move forward to get it switched over to that.
And is there any additional cost for hosting services that'll be, going forward forever?
So our IT guys, the company we use for IT, will host it, they said, and it'll cost us $30 a year. That's what they said. Blew me away.
Okay.
But that's what they said.
Which is quite a bit cheaper than our current hosting.
Mm-hmm.
So I can say this.
So Mickey, as a subject matter expert sitting in the gallery, give a thought.
I would absolutely do that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, gosh. I agree 100%.
even think twice about it.
Yeah. It's a much higher level of security.
It does, adds
It's
legitimacy
got a much better.
and,
Mhm.
yeah.
So if you're looking for a motion, Mr.
I
President,
will entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion that we have the chief continue to look into the domain change of our email.
Have a second?
A second.
Let me just clarify. When he says look in, I'm looking in right now.
No.
Do I have permission
Do you have
to make this happen?
So can you restate the motion, please?
I'll restate the motion that we give the chief permission to get into it for us. Switch to the new domain.
Okay.
The gov dot.
And then Amy, you're a second on that? James,
Aye.
Steve,
Yes,
Amy.
I.
Aye.
motion carries. Go forth and do good, chief. Medical reimbursement increase.
Okay, so this one revolves around the fact we switched over a year ago to a new payroll company and a payroll person who has been a delight to work with and is someone that Charlotte can pick up the phone and she answers every time and answers our questions appropriately, works very well with us. We have zero complaints with her. We did discover through our audit, in fact, she had been reimbursing myself and Lieutenant Leverton $500 a month because we do not take health insurance from the, so per previous agreements, we get a $500 a month stipend towards our insurance. And what Cindy, our payroll person, did not know, but that is actually taxable income. Because had we had that money paid directly to our healthcare provider, it's not taxable because it goes through us.
Yep.
It becomes income. So, we ended up having, I called her out on, that's wrong. And I brought it up to her and I found the correct IRS documents to back that up. And, she said, yep, that's right. And so as a result, we had to, where's the most settle, but what's the payroll word I'm looking for? We had to make things right to show this. And, in doing so, it kind of messed up our payroll services, not services, the payroll for the month. We're gonna be meeting with her to get this all figured out. In the meantime, we are now being taxed on that income, that $500. So, I don't think we ever came up with the final amount. Did we? Like, I think we,
Anywhere, I think what's fair for these guys so that they don't take it over a lot. Probably 650 to 700. Up to that, we have it in our budget too, because we had that recent change in our benefits that we're gonna actually save like $7,000 by losing someone off, part of someone off of our insurance. So it's easily in the budget to do that, but that way these two don't lose money.
Right.
so, I guess the request is to the board is that we, have our medical reimbursement, up
To cover the tax issue.
to cover the taxes,
Cover the tax,
yeah,
yeah.
both state and federal taxes, and it's gonna get Medicare.
And then that would be going forward with all employees that
No.
would choose. Yes, if an employee would choose a stipend versus coverage, that's the level that they would be reimbursed at, or that's the stipend level going forward. So I'll entertain a motion on that if anybody.
What's the amount?
What's the exact amount? I don't know what the.
Not
exact-
sure, but-
We
It
don't have an
depends on
exact-
how you file, well, I see, but it's different depending on what your exemptions are, things like that.
But it,
No, I know, but
Oh, what amount you're asking? I got it.
but it would be
what's the amount?
stipend plus whatever the taxation is for that individual.
Yeah,
So it's gonna vary by individual.
that's what I'm saying. Are we gonna just do a flat dollar amount?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, so that was what Lieutenant Carr had, I asked him, I actually didn't ask him, I just
That's
did.
what it came up with.
650, 700, that increases from the 500 to 650, which should cover like
Offset the taxes.
single person.
That's what,
Okay, I see.
that's what I'm saying. I mean,
And it'll just be, and so in policy going forward, anybody that accepts a stipend will just have this number. It'll always be 650 or.
that's, I mean. Otherwise, every month we'd be
Do
doing.
we have a solid number at this point? Is 650 the right number? Is it 700? Or does that, do we
That's what-
need to sharpen our pencils on this?
Well, my concern is that we make an adjustment and then all of a sudden, 6 months later, we find out it has to be increased.
I agree.
And so I liked what some verbiage I heard here a little bit ago that said to increase it to meet the state and federal government requirements for taxation. Then that's
It's slides
in there and it
with-
slides with whatever it would be. Is that agreeable?
Well, again, it could be different because Kenny may claim more exemptions than I do, and his taxes could be different from mine. I doubt they are, but he makes, he's taxed on, he makes more than I do. And so he's gonna be taxed more, maybe a different rate, I don't know. So, but I can tell you strictly from a math number, Lieutenant Carr looked it up and said, $650 to $700 a month would cover that. It may be a slight benefit, it may not be, I don't know, but it's gonna not be much. It's gonna be very negligible, so, I don't wanna, I haven't researched this enough to give you guys a solid answer on that. But
My guess is that this board is good with this going forward. We just want to know what a number is, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
if you were looking strictly on our budget basis, he's the guy to ask.
So, but I
Just
think
give it
the
a second.
issue is going to be, how do we put it in policy going forward? What's,
Policy can be changed. If our health insurance goes up, then we can look at the policy again and say, we're gonna increase that number by X amount of dollars. Easy.
So that number did ebb and flow, right?
Of course.
It used to be 400 and all of our insurances went up last time. So when we made our more recent payroll agreement with chief, he upped it to 500. Because typically what it is it's half of whatever a single non-dependent person would cost me simply be.
Right.
So they get half of that. And we're just gonna bump it up a little to offset the taxes. So 30% of essentially the tax at 35%, 30% of 150 is like 150, 175. So you add that to 600 or 500, you get 650, 675. That's what I think.
So I'll make a motion that we do allow the chief to continue down this process. And if you can look at, I gotta be careful with this motion to continue the process and then let's vote on that, or we can have discussion.
It's much easier budget wise for us to have a solid number.
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay,
So,
you answered my question already.
yeah.
So we just make it 675. Is that agreeable?
That's what I was gonna say.
Is that a working number within your math?
Cut it in the middle.
So there, you want to make the motion now?
Let's see, Charlotte, how well do you know your speech? I'll make a motion that we allow the chief to look into this medical reimbursement. Not look into, move forward.
The board raised the
Mhm.
allowance, the
Medical
stipend from 500.
500 to 675.
Bingo.
Did I get it close enough? 2003, that's.
Do I have a second?
Second.
James, were you good on that? Yep. Okay, so James? Aye. Steve?
I,
Amy?
Aye.
Motion carries. Move to 675. Bond early payoff.
Since I became chief, I think you all know that it's been one of my biggest goals to get our district completely debt-free. We did that by getting rid of one of our apartment monitors, one of the two that we had. We sold it, we paid off our command rig. And I've been telling people we are essentially debt-free. We still have the bond out there, the last payment due on our tender, but that's not truly debt because we collect that money regardless. It's just the voters said, here's the money. We just received our tax payments, the bulk of our tax money from the county. Our coffers are full. And we have the money right now to pay the bond off early, which would have come due in April. When was that bond gonna come
The
due?
bond is due June 15th
15.
at 61,260.
If we have the money, if we pay it off now, which we have the ability to do, we'll save a couple $100 in interest. But we have it and it would be, I would like to look at the public with an absolute 100% straight face and say, we are debt free. We don't owe a penny to anybody.
And we're not really getting any more money before the payoff time anyway. Correct. This is where we get our money.
And keep in mind, we discussed this, I think, in the last board meeting, that there's going to be extra money in that account. We were gonna have more than 61,000, we're gonna have 77,000. We've already consulted with legal.
Yep.
And we can put that extra money back into our general fund.
Yep.
So we're gonna come out a little bit ahead, but I would like to say to the taxpayers that, you know, we're being responsible with our money. We're gonna save a couple $100 by paying us off early. And we look at, we're debt free.
So you need a motion to pay it off early?
So what we'll also need a motion is that you give the authority to Charlotte and I to sign a wire transfer in and out of around 60 to 62,000.
To make it happen.
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion at this time.
We'll make a motion to approve
Approve.
Chief Brody.
Yep.
Tannery to do a wire transfer for early payoff for our bond amount of, did you say 61,260?
We don't have an exact amount. He asked if I could give him, the gentleman from the bank asked if I could give him a date that we would want to do the wire transfer, and then he will give us the exact payoff amount. That would include having the interest taken off, because we're paying off
The
early.
the
So,
amount, the payoff amount.
and I can send an email as soon as I get a response back from him. I can give you guys the exact amount. I can email it to all of you.
I'm hoping to make this happen towards the end of next week.
Okay, that was my next
Yeah, we'd like
question.
to do December 18th is the
So
next
just
date.
we'll amend
So
that
you
to
want
wire
Restate
transfer
restate
to
your, yeah,
make a wire transfer in the amount
necessary.
necessary to pay off.
Yeah.
Do I have a second?
Second,
James? Aye. Steve?
yeah, aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Should have said no.
I just
You know,
want to confirm,
you can motion it and then vote against it. That's allowed.
I just want to confirm that motion also allows Charlotte and I to sign that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yep.
That was the first line, chief.
To approve the wire transfer necessary to pay the bond.
And you said that you hope to have it done by the end of next week.
Yeah, I won't be home, I'll be back here till next Wednesday after I
Perfect.
get back from my vacation, if I'm not frozen with snowman.
Plane can't take.
And at this time, I'll entertain any audience participation.
The new Steve down?
Yeah.
I was curious about, you said we did a training on lithium batteries. Have they actually done training here for extrication and things like that on electric cars? So we talked about that at length. No, however, oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, I would get something done soon because we have a few Cybertrucks. We also have, I know of at least 4 or 5 Teslas that live up here now.
Yes,
So,
so that's very good, and thank you for asking that question. The class talked about it, it was all presentation, there was no hands-on stuff. However, we are going to, in the next several weeks, have 4 bashed up cars back out here. We're getting an instructor coming in from the state, DPSST, who's going to teach a small group of us, just us and Mist. We're not opening up to everybody, we want to keep the class kind of small and intimate. And one of the things they will discuss at length on our hands-on session, will simulate that this car is an electric car, and this is where you'll see the such and such a wire, and this is how you shut the circuit down, and this sort of thing. So they're very, it's next to impossible right now to find electric cars to train on.
And just point of clarification, we have the right equipment for dealing with those cars at the time.
Well, when you say, I'm gonna be, for cutting them, yes.
Okay.
Cutting them, yes. If it's on fire, we're gonna get the hot dogs out. I mean, that's how it is. They're gonna,
Call the community,
they're gonna,
mini roast.
we're not gonna
know
put
that I
them
wanna
out.
eat off of that.
Containers that you're eating them, not me.
Yeah,
We-
exactly.
we.
No, I meant for power disconnect and cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
anything else?
Okay.
Any items not on the agenda, open to public board and staff.
I have a question / suggestion. The thing that went on here, the ceremony, is that something you can email the board members about? Because I had asked you about it and you said you see the Facebook page, and I had only seen about the accident. I didn't see the post about their having the ceremony. It
can
would
do
be
that.
awesome if we were informed and were able to be here for that.
I
didn't know
will do
anything.
that, and I'll back it up with both a email message and a text message.
That would be awesome.
I know I did get an email from you in my district email file about it.
Can't remember. I had it.
I did.
Was it there?
Yeah.
Okay, then that's my bad.
I did send, I highlighted it on my email as well about the meeting at being at six
Yeah.
thirty.
I think I saw it on your email.
My bad then. I didn't check the district. It's so
I-
hard to remember to check
Yeah.
the district because I've got it coming into the other ones.
I'm with you, Amy, because I do the same thing. All of a sudden, oh, I haven't looked at the district. one.
Right.
And I looked at your, 3 days ago. Oh, well.
I'm gonna,
My apologies.
when we make
I
the
didn't
switch,
put it
Doc,
here this
we're also
time.
gonna
I didn't
look
know
at
it was
these
set up.
guys so that
Originally, I
we
had
can
heard it wasn't set up yet. So I only think that's your thing. Do you want me to send it to your district one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Like Queen Bee.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I gotta go off with that, that's VA.
But I don't know if they're, yeah, I might have.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I do have one question, and I think I've already gotten it somewhat answered because I did sit with the city administrator today and we talked about a few things. But one of the things I see on this board is some hydrant indication as far as looking at them and checking and testing. And so I just say that today, I know that you probably want to reach out to the city administrator again, just to kind of familiarize her or the staff down there, what's going on, where you guys are with that. Because I kind of got the feeling that there hadn't been any contact back. Their dialogue had started, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it had been a while.
What are they looking for?
Well, the way she indicated is she's trying to work with Kendrick in regards to a program that sets it all up for all the flushing and testing, and they want to know when and where you're gonna be and what you're gonna do and coordinate with them. So what is that? You can
Speak on that.
answer.
Because I can't.
In theory, the hydrant testing, the maintenance, everything like that is the city's
They,
responsibility.
they own it.
It is the public works responsibility.
Mhm.
Last year, we finished up, a little project to help them kind of renew that program. And we went around to every single hydrant, all the crews did, and we didn't flush them. Well, we opened them up and flushed them, but we didn't do any flow testing. Flow testing has to be done by the public works. They have to know which ones are being flow tested, how much gallons per minute they're losing to calculate all this stuff, right?
Mhm.
So we didn't do any GPM testing. All we did was we opened them up a little bit, flushed them out, cleaned out threads, re-lubed up the threads, and annotated any issues with that hydrant for them to fix, right?
Mhm.
We did that out of good faith to help them try to get things back on board, to get hydrants fixed if they were out of commission. It is something that we'd like to pick back up. It takes a lot of man hours. As you can see there, I think there was 150 something hydrants in our district. And that takes a lot of time to do,
And
right?
you have to do 2 hydrants for flow testing.
Yeah, the flow testing is that the public works have to take care of that. We have no equipment to do it, nor do we know how their mains work. How their mains are situated underground, what the mapping looks like with their mains. So it comes down to them on that. It is something, like I said, that we would like to help them with and bring back up, and hopefully every year go out and touch a couple hydrants here and there and clean them up, right? That is the plan. I don't think, to be completely 100% honest with you, we will touch every single hydrant every single year. There's just too much there.
That's full.
And you can only do it in the spring time, right?
Mhm.
So, with that, we also are gonna take where the hydrant shut-off valves are for those hydrants. So if they do fail on us, which we've had a couple,
Mhm.
they failed, they won't shut, we know where that hydrant shut-off valve is for their main, so we can shut that hydrant off. But they are working, and they tell us when a hydrant's out of commission, they will send us an email of, hey, hydrant's back up and running, or they'll give us a phone call. We have found a couple that went out, and a couple that went out of service on calls that they got fixed up. A couple of them they haven't because of how old they are, right?
Mhm.
And with that, replacing the hydrant comes with an exponential cost as well. So I think the plan is for the near future is to at least get our hands on the hydrants. We can't hit, like I said, we can't hit them all in the 4-month span that we have to do it. But I think that we can probably situate it out to where we can hit these ones this summer, and then next summer we can do these ones. I'm working with Ben over at City Hall that does all of our mapping and everything like that. He creates our books for us to do, and we turn them in. So we, in the last 2 years, we have touched every single hydrant. I can tell you that 100%.
That's good. It's good information. I glad to hear that.
Because I didn't even know that was going on.
Hey, I was glad to hear that because you've answered some questions for me. You said they've been contacting you, emailing you, making you aware of when one goes down, when they bring it back up. That's important information. So,
Or second purge down at Public Works.
and Ben is a good guy to work with.
Ben is a great guy.
Mm.
Do they bag them if they're out of service or anything, or
Yeah.
they just, yep, okay.
Yeah. So good. It's good information.
Yeah, and the other piece about the city flowing them, to your point, I mean, all of that, right? It's the system operating, right? What is that gonna do to their system? They need to be able to be in control of that. And there's specialized equipment too, so if they're gonna flow at any kind of volume, they probably want a diffuser for erosion control. And they need to dechlor, you're gonna get into a DEQ problem for throwing chlorinated water into a streamway, and nothing that we wanna buy.
Picks up sediment.
Yep. And then
they
fish kill, and yeah, we want no part of
They
any of
send
that.
all the residents of, hey, you can find extra sediment in
Right.
your water.
Stir up, or you guys, so coming from the water side, right? Fire, when you get on a hydrant, you spin them open and then create a water hammer downstream, and then I would be replacing 15 water heaters that they blew out of the wall down the road, so.
Well, and that happened this last winter. They have the concrete asbestos lines over here in the streets. And they themselves were trying to fix a break, and they clamped it too tight, and they blew a pipe on Knott Street. And I can just see that.
Yeah.
We just still bought it.
We just yeah. It's trouble we don't want.
They broke that pipe going to my house like 4 times in 1 year.
Oh,
Anything else, open items not on the agenda? Nope. All right. Any agenda suggestions for future meetings?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to, I've got some research I've been doing about annexations.
Yes.
We have identified a number of properties that are surrounded or border our fire district. In fact, properties with structures and assessed. I've got a list here of tax people that, for example, one lives very close to Charlotte, which is a good friend, that is not paying, not in our fire district. They don't pay taxes to us. But she actually called her friend today and said, you know, you're not in the fire district and we're not responsible to put out a fire house. And her friend said, what? And-
How do I fix this?
Well, that's the
Exactly.
first question.
Yeah.
So we're calling the county.
So I'm going to be researching state law. I believe there are actions that we can do as an entity to kind of, for lack of a better word, to force them into the fire district.
Annex them into the district.
Annex them in, you know, but my goal would be more likely to try to reach out to these people and say, and Charlotte's friend was one of them, said, how do we do this? And I'm
Right.
going to research how that's done and things like that. That goes along. The other thing is, and I think I've already informed the board that I'm working with the Scappoose Fire Chief next summer. One of our big projects will be to try to bring our boards together.
Yes.
So,
Mhm.
And it's all part of the same conversation.
Yes.
that-
it is.
Yeah, and to your point, Chief, so much the better if the resident requests annexation.
Mhm.
and I just don't think, and like I said, I don't think most of the property owners, they don't
Oh,
know.
I'm sure not.
They do not know.
Well, it's very interesting how this district was set up in its rural areas back in the day, because if you look at how it's just chopped up like a
Yeah.
Lego set, you
It
know?
follows the road.
Yeah, it follows everything and yet you look at our neighboring districts to the north and around us, it's all squared up and they've got all that taxation area where we don't.
Right.
What was that, Nikki? Well, that's just it. We can only tax what's inside the district. Whereas, for example, Miss Birkenfield, they can tax anything that's in that squared area. So if somebody builds a residence in there,
It's already in.
it's already in. Our situation with your friend, so to speak, they're not inside. Yeah, so it could make a big difference in the long run.
And I would say, you know, that's one of those things that we need to be aware of. And if we get into building projects that are outside of the territory, that abut the territory, we need to be working with whoever the builders are,
County, yeah.
developers, whoever
Building.
city planning signed off on
Building
it.
codes.
I am notified of all new projects being built.
Okay.
Since that's inside the city, I don't worry about it. But, these ones out of the farther areas, I get notification from the county saying so-and-so is proposing this property. And I can look up the tax lots and see if.
Right. And then we offer them the annexation.
Yeah.
Or let them know what a bill is gonna look like.
And what my brief, reading of it in the past several days is that they're gonna have to make a formal application to the board to
Yep.
do it. Then we've got to go down to the county assessor's office and there's kind of a process. I will get that streamlined. I'll work with council on that.
Love
to get that done.
Are they in anybody's fire district? They're just not in
They're not.
any district?
That makes it ODF.
It makes it ODF, but they don't,
And-
they
They
don't.
pay
they're
ODF
covered.
on their
Right.
taxes. You can see on there, it says fire patrol.
So I
Right,
can
yeah,
tell you
but-
this,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
How long are you gonna wait for a ring to get out?
Right.
Charlotte's friend is an island. It is completely surrounded by the fire district, but they must have bought a piece of property from somebody that was not before in. And, if that was the case, we would be dispatched to that fire, we would respond.
Yeah.
But our primary objective would be to keep that fire from spreading out from the wildland. We are
Right.
not going to fully engage that fire. I mean, we'll do the best we can and we can build them as well.
Yep.
But, I don't like to get to that point because, what I'd rather do is say, hey, listen, and it might bring the taxes down too. I mean, their insurance company probably knows that they're
Sure.
not.
But they're not, no fire coverage.
So that's,
Can I add something, Chief? I think my understanding of tax law is correct, is we actually legally has to bill someone. Because we can't, if we do something on someone else's property, we're getting taxpayer dollars.
Absolutely.
So I think
We have to pursue cost
recovery.
recovery.
Like that, and we go to them and say, hey, you're not in our district, we'd love to have you annexed. If not, this is what you're looking at.
Exactly.
House back. So they legally have to charge.
He's correct.
All right, anything else for future meetings? So annexation, so looking forward to that. All right, good of the order.
I have something for good work.
yeah,
Just so you guys know, Chief had the gal come up, that one tax lady. It does not appear that we're gonna do a supplemental budget. We can do a resolution, but we thought we were gonna do supplemental, because how much money it was gonna be.
Right.
Because it's a grant for a specific item, it looks like all we have to do is an appropriations resolution, and we will clarify that when the three of us get to go to a cost of January next.
Okay.
But it does look like we will not have to reconvene to do this.
For supplemental.
Which is great.
Love it.
also good of the order. We already did this, recognize our good Samaritans. So we got our audit back. Charlotte, you want to talk real quick about the safe audit stuff?
Sure. So we had a gentleman from Safe come out and do an audit with me. We went over, volunteer staff. I gave him all of our information as far as, our pay for the staff, and he did this whole audit on his computer, worked a little bit with our payroll gal. And we actually paid a little bit more than we needed to, so we got a $2,955 credit back, from Safe, so.
That's great.
And how about the, that survey we just did? We got a credit on that. too.
We did a survey for SDIS on our insurance, best practices, and we will be saving 6% on our insurance.
Good. See, it wasn't too much.
Well, the problem was, they asked a lot of questions. I'm
Absolutely.
like, that sounds really good, but we're not doing that.
Right.
I mean, we're not, we'd like to get I'd love to do that. I can't, no, I haven't got that.
But even with what we were able to answer, we still got a 6%.
Yeah.
I checked like
Reduction.
3 of the 15 boxes and we still got 6% off.
Love it.
Next year I'll try to check 4 or 5, so
Yep.
that's what it is.
All right, and then we already talked about smoke alarm
Yeah,
program.
I got 2 more little things.
Please, bring
One
it.
important one, and I told you guys that I want to recognize our volunteers. Every time I get a chance to present our volunteer staff to the board, they are unsung heroes in the community. I don't think they get enough credit for what they do. So this time we are blessed to be present with Christina Wolf, who's sitting right here, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Christina. Christina.
Who else put around and stare at her while you talk?
Yeah.
Christina Wolf, as you may know, is one of our volunteer firefighters. She's also a full-time employee here with Metro West Ambulance, so I get to, I was gonna say put up with her, but I get to see her several times a week. And not only do I get to see her here when she is on duty, but this young lady is always willing to step up and help out off duty with things that come up. And I will say things like, she will come in on her days off and go visit patients that we have chronic calls with to make sure that they are making sure that they're taking their medication with their doctor appointments. Recently, she went and saw a patient and the patient was very kind and nice, but just said, you know what, I don't have a can opener. I don't own a can opener. I want to eat some food. I don't have a can opener. Christina mentioned that to me, and $14 later out of my pocket, we got her brand new can. She has an incredible heart on her. And the good thing is she's passing it on to her daughter, who's sitting right next to her as well. And Jessica, who's studying to be a physician, is actually working on her EMT as well. And I will tell you that this agency is blessed to have somebody as kind-hearted and wonderful as Christina. And something I just told her 3 or 4 days ago to her face. I've only been here, like I said, 15 months or so, but I've had a couple people, even recently, come up and tell me that whatever it is, Christina's perception, her attitude, her personality has changed quite a bit in the past year or so. And she's turned into this wonderful, kind-hearted person. Mickey's calling BS. I wanted to say that not only is she a fine EMT, she is a fine volunteer for us. She's appreciated, and I'd like to have 25 more of her. Thank you, Christina.
You don't get off that easy. We expect some kind of a speech or.
I guess your attitude is 100% better.
Do good.
Do gooder.
Do good.
So I'm just gonna finalize the last thing I was saying, and I told you guys this before, and I told you these two at the meeting. I have a really good feeling about our district. I think we are really, really moving in a great direction. I can honestly tell you that I have not dealt with anything employee-wise, volunteer-wise, system-wide, county-wide. I have not gotten any pissed off phone calls. I haven't gotten anything. I can tell you that our public image is really good right now. And I'm also not naive enough to know that it won't always be that way. We're gonna get knocked down. We're gonna take our licks. But I always use an example. As long as we can build ourselves up to here, we'll only get knocked down to here. We're not gonna get knocked down to the bottom. And I'm very, very happy. I'm glad to be part of this organization. It's nice to have the support that I have. And as long as you guys want me around, I will continue to push this direction for our people in our agency.
I'm not gonna let him have the last word.
Yeah,
You wouldn't. I just want to say going to the district directors conference with the chief and being involved and being around him down there, it was really good. You guys got to realize it's been 25+ years since I attended anything like that. So I feel like an antique. But it was really good to go with somebody who's very knowledgeable, interacts with all the other people that he knows and is in contact with, and he's always gleaning information. We'd sit down at the table and we'd all compare notes about this and that, and it was a good time. So thank you for letting us go and taking care of us to go. That was
Absolutely.
very nice. And what's it?
Try keeping up with him walking is hard, isn't it?
He's
He's
got a short step, but it's fast.
Oh.
Well, I noticed, and I don't.
I thought you were supposed to be doing better.
He does a lot of the sitting on his legs crossed. Is this sitting on the phone book again over there?
You should see him on the elliptical though. His legs are quick on that thing.
Yeah, the alligator, he comes up.
All right, and with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved to adjourn the meeting.
Second,
I'll second that.
James,
Bye.
Steve,
Aye.
Amy.
Aye.
Next meeting is January 13 of men's
Oh,
at 2026, 7 p.m.
That's new.
Oh,
Meeting adjourned.
boy.
All over again.